Morning, everyone. Welcome to this morning's edition of the NPC Markets Morning Call. I'm Mark Gardner. It's the 25th of May. Look, consumer sentiment, we had Dow records on Friday night, and we've since had oil drop about 5% because of Trump, or as I like to call him, the president who cried wolf, essentially saying that, negotiations with Iran were going well. He did backpedal that, but it's a Memorial Day holiday at the moment. So, thin markets will probably see some pretty severe moves, but oil's down about 5%, and then we've got futures up around about 0.8%. But consumer sentiment and the bond route are real warning signs here at the moment. So as you can see, Nvidia continued its sort of push lower, but we still had those those chip stocks on the left-hand side there, AMD, Texas Instruments, Cisco, etc., Tesla, which seems to be getting packaged up with the semiconductor stocks these days. And the stocks just doing extraordinarily well. But 9 of the 11 sectors were higher on the S&P 500, and it's now the S&P has been on an 8-week straight run, up 17%. So earnings tracking at 29% year on year. But as we've discussed in the morning podcast a number of times, those earnings are very skewed by upward revisions to the valuations of Anthropic, OpenAI, and SpaceX, which are going to come online fairly soon. As you can see, the Aussie's been a little bit dour. The Nikkei's just been, generally heading higher and doing its own thing, but pretty solid week overall, and the technicals looking pretty solid for the US market in particular. We do have some economic numbers this week and a bunch of other things going on. But look, but just to wrap up in terms of the stocks, Dell was up 17% to a record high. HP came up as well, both riding Lenovo's 27% revenue beat. Workday was up on a Q1 beat, and we do have some software names having some earnings this week. Take-Two, which is the Grand Theft Auto gaming, which is the largest media release in the world. Generally, it was down 4.4 despite reaffirming that November launch. It's become a bit of a joke with those release dates. From a macro standpoint, Kevin Warsh was sworn in as Fed chair on Friday. Most of the Fed members at the moment talking that the next move will be a rate hike, and the market's now pricing in a rate hike by the end of the year. So when we are officially not at an easing bias, and you would expect this to start to weigh on the market. But obviously, what these movements this morning are around, the normal cycle of Trump saying that there's a deal, then backpedaling. Pakistan's mediating. Don't know whether they're telling the truth. He said the deal on Sunday was largely negotiated and walked it back hours later, not even fully negotiated yet. And then, they basically let through 35 ships over the course of the weekend. 35 merchant vessels transited under Iran Navy escort. That's a positive sign. And look, we've had one of the primo sort of economists from Perpetual come out and just go, look, Trump's always claiming a peace deal's close. We've all seen this movie before, which we have, but yet still the market keeps going. And as you can sort of see, this doesn't even include the 5% that crude's dropped on the open here this morning. I think we were around about the 92 mark in crude as it stood, around about 9 o'clock. As we speak right now, we're at 91.80, down 5%. We've got and you've got futures up around about 0.8, so we should be a fairly positive start to the Aussie market today. I think that we are pretty under the pump as it stands at the moment, and I think we probably deserve a little bit of a relief rally. Nothing's really gone right for that Aussie market lately, particularly these people trying to work out what they're going to do with these capital gains tax and negative gearing rules. Pretty big week in terms of economic numbers as well. We got Aussie, we got CPI on Wednesday, and you've got household spending and private credit expenditure on Thursday. But we got preliminary GDP and core PCE on Thursday in the US. These are revised numbers, but you've got Salesforce, Zscaler, Bath and Body Works, And Dell next week in Costco. Sorry, Dell this week in Costco. So and Marvell Technology, which is part of that whole hyperscaler as well. So there could be some decent and more some positive news out of them, overall. And you've got durable goods on Friday as well, which can be pretty, which can be pretty handy to be watching. But overall, don't want to bore you guys too much this morning. There was a few bits and pieces out, but at the moment it's Memorial Day holiday. Probably just enjoy the rally and have a look at possibly, maybe reviewing your portfolio if you're a little bit concerned about things, particularly if you're US heavy overall. But look, guys, have a great day. I've also launched if you're on LinkedIn, I've launched a monthly newsletter for MPC markets that wraps up the month in retrospect and what we're looking out for in the coming month. So you can go and have a look at that and subscribe to that free of charge, and catch up to date if you on a monthly basis if you don't have a hell of a lot of time living your life and doing your job. So have a great day, people. If you could do us a favor, if you enjoy this content, please subscribe on either YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. It really helps us out. Have a great day. We'll speak again tomorrow.
Feeling lost with investing? Meet Mosaic. Mosaic is MPC Markets' platform that turns confusing markets into clear, actionable guidance for your portfolio. Discover Mosaic today. Portfolio and trade ideas in one place for clients and subscribers, powered by MPC Markets.